Hey, hi everyone, welcome back. So, guys, as part of this session, we are going to talk about how exactly we can configure our machine with this particular playwright, or how exactly we can install this playwright in our machine. Ideally, to work on it, there are some prerequisites that we need to do. The first one is a Node.js. So, if you have remembered, we have already installed Node.js whenever we were studying about a TypeScripting. And the editor that we need to work on, I'm gonna use the Visual Studio Code. And even if you have seen the previous videos, right, we have already installed Visual Studio Code for our TypeScripting. So which means we have already installed the Node.js and we have already installed the Visual Code Editor. Both are already there in our machine. If at all you haven't watched the previous videos with respect to the configuration, in order to work on this particular playwright, right, I'm using a Visual Studio Code as an editor and a Node.js, libraries that I want to download it. That's it. And on top of it, let's go to this Playwright official documentation itself, where exactly we want to work out and see the details. And here, I was just choosing the Playwright using the Node.js libraries. I have just picked this particular option. And if you look at it, basically, if you scroll down, how exactly we need to install it. In order to get started with this Playwright, you need to follow this particular method. There are certain steps that you need to follow to work on this Playwright. The first and a foremost thing here is create a separate folder. And that particular folder, open it in a VS Code. And once you open that particular folder in a VS Code, whatever the command they have a given here, open that folder either in a VS Code terminal or in a normal terminal and just run this particular command. Automatically, it will be installing that. So what I'm going to do right now here is I have created a Playwright Basics folder. Okay, this is just an empty folder. Now, let me pull my Visual Studio Code and here I'm trying to open that particular folder. So documents, playwright, code base and playwright basics. I was just opening that. Whenever you have a open that, it does have some git ignore. Okay, let me delete this particular file. Ideally, whenever you created any folder, it won't have any information. So this is the blank folder that it got created. And from the VS Code, okay, from the VS Code, open the terminal. So I was just clicking on this particular button, okay, this particular button to show my terminal. So just click on it. The terminal got populated and it's in this particular folder. Now, what are we gonna do here is npm init playwright at the rate latest. What exactly the meaning is, it's a node component or a node module. Download the latest node module of this particular playwright. So here I'm just placing that particular command here and hit this particular enter button. As in when I hit this particular enter button, it's asking me, buddy, you want to go with a JavaScript or a TypeScript installation? I just want to go with my playwright a TypeScript, hence I'm leaving this a TypeScript as a default. And then the next option it's prompting here is, buddy, you wanna give any name to the end-to-end test, whatever you are gonna create using the playwright. By default, I'm taking as a test basically. Would you like to continue with that? Yes, I just wanna go with it. Perfectly all right. And the next and a most important option that it's populating here is GitHub action workflow. So what exactly this action workflow does here is, it's gonna create an YAML file, and using this particular YAML file, this will help us, in order to do a configuration of a CI/CD. As of now, I don't want to think about it. I'm just leaving as it is, and I clicked on this particular false and hit enter button, and it's asking me, I'm gonna go with whatever the default browsers that are required for my Playwright. I'm gonna install it. Yes, go ahead and install it. And then see, it's installing, and if you look at it, basically all the packages got installed, and it is saying that successfully installed. And if you look at this particular console or the logs that it got generated, in general, in order to run your playwright test, use this npx playwright test, which is used to run your test. So it is giving some suggestions basically. And below that, and if at all you want to have a look into the UI, the interactive mode of the playwright execution, use this particular command playwright test UI. And if you want to run your playwright on your desktop Chrome browser, use this particular one. And npx playwright test examples is the one this will be running that the specific file itself. And debug is the one, if you add this debug keyword, right, it will be in a debugging mode where you can debug your test script. Okay, and this a code gen is the one which is used to record your test script. These are the things that it got a populated. Now, perfectly all right. What I'm doing is, if you look at your folder structure that it got a generated, okay, the folder structure that it got a generated. The first and a foremost thing, it's a node modules, of course, as it is a node component, right? At the inside the node modules, you do have a playwright. And apart from that, it does has a test. So basically, this test contains a small example how exactly the playwright test looks like. If you look at this example spec, this is a sample test they have a given for us. This is a very basic test they have a given. And inside the test examples, they have another test that is created for our reference, which is a more expanded or an enhanced test script they have a given for our reference. So both the test and a test examples are used for our reference, a sample test scripts it got created. And a git ignore. Ideally, this git ignore contains the files that needs to be ignored whenever you are committing the code to the repository. Ideally, it is stating that you don't want to commit the node modules, you don't want to commit the results, you don't want to commit the reports, all those things. Anyways, we will be seeing at this moving further. And the next one here is package.json or a package lock.json. If you look at this particular package.json, basically it's stating that the playwright test and this is the version and this is the node component that you are using. Ideally, this manages the node for this particular project. And as of now, we have only this playwright component in this. Okay, perfectly all right. And then the next and a most important thing we need to look at here is a playwright config.ts. Okay, in this particular playwright config, you are gonna specify what exactly your testing directory is, your test cases directory are, how many times you want to perform a retry operation, or it also contains basically on which browser you want to execute, what is the default timeout, all those things, the complete configuration, the video capturing enabling part, the screenshot capturing enabling part, everything is there as part of this configuration file itself. Anyways, moving further, we will be looking at this configuration file in detail. We will customize this configuration file as well. But if you are done up to this particular step, with which we can say that the installation is successful. The simple thing, guys, create a new folder, open this folder in a VS Code, and directly use this command. Okay, directly use this command npm init playwright at the rate latest. That's it. Even as part of the official documentation, they have given the same things that we have explained right now, and they are also explaining what exactly the things that it will install. Okay, perfect. As part of the next session, we will be looking at how exactly we can execute the playwright test. And one more thing out over here is this is a standard process that we have followed. And there is another option also using a VS Code extension. Also, you can install this playwright to your, a project that we will be seeing in the upcoming sessions. Okay, that's fine. See you again in the next lecture, guys. Thank you.